Are you an investigative professional? Did you know you can now find the best private investigator resources using investigatorstoolbox.com? It is a resource community built exclusively for licensed investigators and investigative professionals. This is the future of investigative learning, networking, and resource management. You can interact with some of the best investigative minds in the business in our community section. Our private investigator resources also have a robust learning section packed full of free training webinars, audio teachings, and helpful articles. Many teachings offer CLE credit. Our data resources section features over 225 free OSINT resources. This site is also designed to create a private personal resource library for your use when you do research. We have partnered with some of the best investigators and businesses in this industry to provide benefits and discounts to our members. We have over $1,250 worth of discounts and benefits available exclusively to members of the community. For less than 49 cents a day, you can access this amazing resource tool. Download the Investigator's Toolbox app available on Android and iOS, or visit our webpage at investigators-toolbox.com. The best private investigator resources and this amazing community are only a few clicks away.
Crosstracks case management system. That is what we are talking about today. Are you using a case management system? What are you waiting for? If you don't use a case management system, you really need to look into implementing that into your business regimen. I've been at it with Crosstracks now a little over a year, and it's just been a game changer for my business. They are SOC 2 certified, SOC 2 Type 2 certified. If you don't know what that means, it means that their encryption system is second to none, and you have to go through a whole screening process to figure out if you can even qualify for that, and they have. So you know with certainty your data is being protected. I don't think there's another case management system out there that offers that same ability to have the SOC 2 Type 2 certification. As you guys know, I've been singing the praises of Crosstracks, and I really believe in this product, and I believe you should check it out. Contact Brad, contact Pat, one of the team members over there, and see if it's right for you. Crosstracks case management system, check it out today.
Welcome to this week's episode. Today we welcome Mario Doyle from Doyle Security Services. Mario runs a 500-man operation in New York. The guys touch on some mental health concerns for the security investigation industry. After these past 2 years, this is a very important topic. Let's join Mario and your host, private investigator Matt Spaier.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of PI Perspectives. This is Matt Spaier, your host. We are back in New York this week, and I reached out to an old friend who I've been trying to get on for a while now. He is the former president of Aldenese, which is the Associated Licensed Detectives in New York State, but he's not a private investigator per se. He's more of a security guard guy. So I want to welcome Mario Doyle to the program. Mario, how are you?
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for having me today.
Yeah, we go way back through Aldenese. I believe when I started serving on the board or the executive board, you were the president at the time, right?
Yes, you had come on as one of our regional directors, and if I wasn't the president, I was on my way to the presidency. It seemed like a lifetime ago, but it's a time I cherish because it's a time where you bring the security industry and the private investigations industry together. I mean, we all swim in the same pond. We may have different specialties, right, but a lot of things that overlap. For example, right, I'm licensed as a private investigator, but my focus of my business is more security services.
Yeah, and I think you need to have that license in order to do research, right? So I did this topic a few weeks ago with Sal Lifieri, right? And the importance of if you were doing security, being able to have that PI license to do research, whether it be on a particular target or whether it be on a location, things of that nature. So it's definitely important.
Absolutely. I mean, again, it's the highest license, as you know, that exists in the state, but if you're just in security, you cross over into that PI realm,
Mhm.
time and time again, whether it's your people doing investigations or the research component of it.
Mhm.
It's key to have the PI license because you rest easy knowing that you're licensed, you're insured, and you're protected.
Sure.
Any work you do.
So Doyle Security Services, how long have you guys been around, and what type of work do you specialize in?
So the company was founded in 2005. We currently have a little over 500 employees in 4 states. We're licensed in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Florida. And we use strategic partners in the other parts of the country where we have customers. So, for example, we have customers down in Texas, Louisiana, in Connecticut, just to name a few. And we use strategic partners, like-minded organizations, just like we use different investigators if our investigations move into different states and across state lines. Same concept.
Yep, definitely. So, how did you get into this business? What was your background before you started the business?
So again, I tell people I grew up in the business for the most part. What caused me to start my own organization was I found myself being a victim of acquisition after acquisition. Just like on the PI end, I was working for organizations that that continuously grew, and then the national and global companies came in and bought them out.
Yep.
So, and I made a decision with the support of my family to go out on my own. As you know, Matt, owning your own business, it's scary, right?
Yeah, at first, definitely.
Kind of put everything on the line. But as long as you've got first and foremost faith in yourself and faith in the customers that you approach, everything works out as long as you do the right thing.
Yeah. So were you able to bring along some of those clients when you went out on your own, or you basically had a non-compete and had to start from scratch?
Well, I had a non-compete and started from scratch, but I also had some of my customers that I had with me along my career. So things like non-competes don't cover all customers that you brought to an organization.
Right.
I had made sure anybody I was bringing to an organization wasn't tied into what I learned at the organization.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I lived up to ensuring I abided by anything that I committed to. But there's a lot of customers that you build that trust with, that they want, it's their peace of mind.
Right.
That you're protecting. One of our taglines as a company is, protecting your people, your property, and your peace of mind.
Yeah.
Customers, as long as they know they have the peace of mind that they're dealing with you, they know things are going to get done in the best possible way. And even if you let them, even if there's something goes wrong, you're transparent, you're honest, you're responsive. That's the key.
Yeah. One of the things I really appreciate about following you on, I think it's on LinkedIn or one of the other social media, I probably follow you on everything actually, is the way you reward your employees. Like you go out of your way to acknowledge people that work for you and the work that they do. And that's just such a great thing to do for people that work for you. It's got to help with morale, I would think.
Listen, we pride ourselves on being an employee-centered company. For us, people are who we are. Our product is people. Mm-hmm. So, it's critical to coach, mentor, recognize, develop people, right? You're investing in your most important product, which is people. Again, we talk about, one team committed to excellence. The magic is not in the corporate office or in a regional office. The magic is on a site level where security officers are providing a service day in and day out. Right. And it's our duty, as leaders to recognize what they've done. You look at what security officers have had to face
Yeah.
in the last 18 months through this pandemic.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into that when we come back from the break. But essentially, that's really what we want to talk about here today: just mental health issues of doing security guard work, the pressures of what everyone's been dealing with, especially up here in New York when it was just bonkers for in the beginning. It was really, really bad, and just the stress of, do I have a job? Okay, I have a job now. Is it going to kill me? That kind of stuff. And I want to tie it in with the investigator as well, because I think, as a field investigator, someone who goes out and visits people, there's a lot of the same pressures are there for folks. So we're going to jump out and take a break real quick. But when we come back, I definitely want to jump into that stuff and just cover it a little bit further. So everybody sit tight and we'll be right back.
Are you overwhelmed with your current caseload? Could you use some help with your skip trace assignments? With Merlin Locate Services, rather than adding staff, you can add an entire skip trace department of licensed private investigators who specialize in skip tracing. Check out merlinlocate.com today. When you work with Merlin Locate Services, you bring on a valuable experience and trusted extension to your team. Need the best insurance coverage out there? Check out SIIS Insurance. Make your insurance purchasing process a breeze by dealing with the leading PI industry experts. All filings for your state PI license are handled directly by their staff. Certificates of coverage to your clients are fulfilled the same day as requested. If you work armed, no worries, as they always include firearms liability in their coverage. Coverage can be expanded to cover executive protection, consulting liability, guard operations, and for cyber liability inexpensively. Best of all, be sure to indicate on the application that you're a regular PI Perspective listener or Investigator Toolbox subscriber, as amazing discounts apply. So make sure you take advantage today. Visit Security Investigators Insurance Solution, SIISinsurance.com. In 2019, Investigation Education Consultants added a new affiliate in its never-ending quest to provide quality professional investigative training. IEC is now offering certificate courses and investigative training online. Our website, IECOIT.com, will soon offer a certificate in professional investigation for those interested in entering the investigative field. There'll be standalone investigation classes for those seeking continuing education credits, CEUs, or just interested in taking classes for their own personal or professional interests. The classes currently available are Foundations of Investigation, Legal Investigation, Criminal Investigation, Fraud Investigation, Background Investigation, Interviews and Statements, Skip Tracing Locates, Ethics, and Report Writing. Investigator Toolbox members will receive a 20% discount off the listed price. So visit IECOIT.com. Want full data access without a site inspection? IRB Search gives you full Social Security numbers, dates of birth, up-to-date contact info, and so much more, without the inconvenience or cost of an inspection. As an added bonus, you can access IRB data on any device in any location. You'll always have the best data anytime, anywhere. Visit irbsearch.com and use exclusive promo code PIPOD2021 for a free trial and 100 credits. Offer available for new and returning customers. The next issue for PI Magazine is on its way. Make sure you check out all the great content available in this special edition. Get it online or via hard copy.
And welcome back to PI Perspectives. This is Matt Spaier, your host. I'm joined here today by Mario Doyle from Doyle Security Services out on Long Island, and apparently 3 other states as well, and multinational and all that good stuff. So Mario, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, so we started teasing a little bit before we took the break about mental health issues in the security guard industry and the whole aspect of COVID. So give me your take on this, man. What did you see on your side when the pandemic hit and we basically had a shelter in place?
So it's been a tough road as an industry, right? So initially, at the start of the pandemic, you had clients just go to minimum manning for the most part, right? Facilities shuttered, which put a lot of people out of work initially, and a lot of people had to deal with the concern of COVID, right? There was a lot of information coming out faster than anybody could digest it. But it was the focus was health and safety, and what as an organization, the first thing we focused on is making sure that the employees felt comfortable coming to work.
Right.
Now, our employees don't work out of one office, they work at client sites across this country, right? So we had to get our customers to partner with us on ensuring that the facilities that our offices worked out of were sanitized, were had the disinfectants needed. And as you know, I mean, getting a can of Lysol at the height of the pandemic was like getting a gold bar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, it didn't.
Quite a few fistfights over the old Lysol.
Quite a few fistfights to say the least. But no, we focused on ensuring that our employees felt comfortable to work in the environments that they were assigned to. I think that was a key component.
Yeah.
Getting them to work and ensuring that they knew the environment they were in was protected. But
and I think one of the bigger issues too, or very early on, was determining whether or not we actually could work. Right. So I know with Aldenese, with the state association, that was something that we worked very hard for to clarify, because it was unclear if the security industry or investigators were considered essential services. And we had our lobbyists, make connections with the governor's office and get a definitive answer that yes, you are essential services. I mean, the infrastructure was needed. There was so much going on with guarding people, guarding properties, locations. I know many peers that I have in your side of the world there, that industry. I mean, they couldn't fill the positions. There was so much need for people, having that private security. On the message boards, folks saying, "Hey, we need people." It was quite unprecedented. It was crazy, right?
Well, yes, you had the pandemic, and then right on the heels of that, you had civil unrest.
Yeah,
and New York was the epicenter of not only the pandemic, but some of the civil unrest that was taking place across this country.
Yeah.
So again, our brothers in law enforcement had their hands full.
Yeah, I still do.
And every day. And a lot of the burden of dealing with pandemic-related issues, dealing with civil unrest issues, was falling on security officers.
Yeah.
It's been a tough 18 months.
Yeah, and you can see how mentally that it would get to you, right? So now the first is the stress of whether or not you can work, right? All right, so we got that out of the way. You can work. Now here's the stress of am I going to work somewhere that's going to kill me, right? So that's real, right? That's a real stressor, right? Now it's can I work somewhere if I'm vaccinated or unvaccinated, which is a whole nother can of worms here that we got to deal with here in New York. That essentially you can't go into any indoor place to do anything without showing your vaccination card, at least having one shot, which is real. So these mental issues definitely build up.
Yeah, listen, security officers have always been on the front line. But now they're on the front line enforcing rules and regulation that, for the most part, half the country disagrees with, right?
Yeah.
Vaccinations have been a hot issue, through the election, post-election, to present day, right?
Yeah.
And now security officers are tasked with enforcing these new rules and regulations. And we see, at least in this area, how fast they've been changing.
Yeah.
Security officers have been verbally abused, physically abused. And, as an organization, we have been really focused on making sure our employees understand that we're there to support them. Whether it's through just being there for them, understanding, in essence, building a better approach to not putting them into a position, or more importantly, making sure they have EAP services or counseling services if they're dealing with something that's past just verbal abuse. But again, we as an organization have been focusing on how are you doing when it comes to our security officers? How's it been? Tell me about some of the challenges that you're facing. Because again, it's tough, and it's going to get tougher because more and more rules are being instituted when it comes to vaccinations. Initially, it was social distance monitoring, right? Making sure it was more a health and safety, and you were selling it as, listen, this is for your own protection. It was more health and safety related. Now it's become a business is going to get fined if they don't follow the guidance that has been established by the local authority, the state authority, or the federal government. So now you're telling somebody no. Now you're restricting somebody from entering a facility, whether it's a corporation, whether it's a retail establishment. Again, and now as you know, Matt, organizations are moving towards you either get vaccinated or you possibly get terminated.
Yeah.
Now, again, that workplace violence concern is back up, right?
Definitely.
So again, things that we're thinking about. Again, from an access control standpoint, we built these great command centers. We have employee IDs, we have employee profiles, we have employee pictures. The tough thing is everybody's wearing a mask now. So, again, at the end of the day, we've really been adjusting on how we control access, how we prevent access, and more importantly, how we welcome people back to work, because that's one of the focus.
That's what we're working on now, right? The whole, and people can't work from home anymore. Everyone's got to go back to work. You're seeing little whispers of that starting to happen. But it's also the beginning of flu season, shortly. So we'll see how long that lasts. So.
Absolutely. We take on our roles as ambassadors. We're the first people that individuals see walking into a facility. It's them feel comfortable coming back to work, because as you touched on, you're starting to see it, but people have gotten so comfortable with working from home that it's taking a lot of adjustment. You see people acting out more in professional environments because they're so used to now working from home or not having somebody over their shoulder. And corporations, at least in the New York City area, are pushing. They started with asking, and now I start to see them pushing towards you are coming into the office, whether it was initially it was voluntary, now it's mandatory for 1 or 2 days a week. And you touched on flu season. I can see probably by the end of the year, they're required to come into the office, because you think about the amount of real estate that is unoccupied in the city.
Crazy.
And the costs associated with that.
Yeah, no, it's really crazy to see how much real estate is out there. And we just you gotta be able to pivot, right, and be fluid with the situation. It seems like you've been doing that, and I definitely commend you for really having your employees, safety at first, which is you got to do it in times like this. It's you want to live, you want to make your money, but you also don't want to lose your staff as well. So that's important.
Absolutely, man. And listen, we talk about a lot, but one of the things that I I commend a lot of our employees. As you know, the wages in the security guard business aren't what they should be, right? But
Hmm.
it's what the industry pays.
Right.
When we've had hundreds of security officers that have worked through the pandemic, that could have probably made more money just staying home,
Yeah.
because the government said it was okay if you felt unsafe to go to work, you could stay home and get that federal supplement
Yeah.
and collect a free check. But the integrity of some of these officers, or most of these officers and these individuals, to me are inspiring. And they came to work, you know, I mean, through the thick of things. They were there for our customers when our customers weren't even there.
Sure.
And then again, for a very long time last year, we were the only people in the building. It was us and the facilities people for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
You know, there was no leadership, management, day-to-day staff in the building. It was just the security staff that was
Mhm.
ensuring that the facility was protected.
Yeah. So let's go back to the workplace violence issue, because you touched on it for a second, but I think that's a really important issue, right? Because we've all kind of, you know, the proper work environment, right? There's no HR on our back now. People are kind of devolving on how they talk to one another, and it's could be more unprofessional, inappropriate, or offensive, and there's so many hot button issues out there right now that if you're at the water cooler talking a certain way or talking about a certain thing, it could lead to that. So I think that's really a good point that you make here, that you could see a jump in that. So are you starting to, are you just preparing for it, or you're actually seeing a jump in that with what you're seeing now?
We're preparing for it. We're talking about it. We're being more cognizant of it. But what we're seeing is people don't really want to be back in the office.
Yeah.
They're very comfortable working from home. And anytime anybody's forced to do something that they aren't comfortable with doing, there's a concern. There's a workplace violence concern.
Sure.
The second component is organizations have already started discussing the fact that if you don't get vaccinated by a certain period in time, you are going to lose your job. So
Yeah.
that's a stress. That's a stressor
That's a big one. Yeah.
that people are living with. They're living with either at home, or they're living with it at the office. And
Right.
as we get nearer to those deadlines, you're going to see people act out. And so we in security and investigations have to be very cognizant of employee behavior, and ensure that that's why I touched on, as ambassadors, we're trying to make them feel comfortable about coming back to work. But it's something that's definitely on our radar.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been very interesting. I can tell you I know who definitely doesn't want to come back are the judges. The whole doing the depositions online. they love doing that stuff, and it makes sense. It really does. It's convenient for everyone. I think the only ones who don't really love it are the defense attorneys, who don't get the extra billing traveling back and forth going to depositions. But it seems like that's something that's probably going to stick around, and I think there will be things that stick around on a hybrid basis. Even the conferences we all go to, right? A lot of them are going hybrid now, where you can go in person or you can attend virtually. I know there were a bunch of great ones recently, and I think there's one coming up in Manhattan. I think in a week or two, right?
Well,
that's a big one at the Javits, right? That's like one of the first big ones.
Yeah. Well, you've got the ISC show.
Yeah.
That's at the Javits in a couple of weeks, and it's in conjunction with the New York City chapter of ASIS.
Yeah.
And you actually have ASIS's GSX show in Orlando, which is their global security conference.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yep.
again, I'll be at both. But again, I'm interested to see how many people attend, because as we all know, there is a group that is still very concerned with COVID. And listen, I always say, if you're at risk, you should take the necessary precautions
Sure.
to protect yourself and your family. But me personally, I'm looking forward to getting back. I miss, you talked about Albanese. I miss those Albanese meetings.
Yeah.
I miss the socialization, the relationships you build. You know what I mean? Because they last a lifetime, whether it's an investigation or whether it's protecting a facility. Some of that networking is priceless.
No, totally, man. Like I've been to Texas twice so far this summer. I just got back from Arizona. In fact, as soon as we finish recording this, I'm hopping in my car and driving to Pennsylvania to go to their event. There's a Society of Professional Investigators dinner on Thursday, which I'll be coming back from Pennsylvania to go to. I'll be in San Diego 2 weeks after that for Osmosis. So I'm with you, man. It's time to like get back out there and do what you got to do. Those relationships are so important, and yeah, I'm careful. I'm wearing masks. I'm sitting on a plane for 5 hours, 6 hours wearing a mask, and it's like, so be it. It's not the end of the world, right? I choose life. So it's all good stuff.
Listen, I tell people it's important to get out there, but it's important to get out there safely.
Sure.
That's the key, because and we're all doing it. Again, you talked about pivoting, right? We've all pivoted, but we can hide in our basement. We're not gonna survive hiding in our basement. We're gonna survive by persevering through any challenge that comes our way.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to wind down here, Mario. I really appreciate you coming on. The fact of the matter is, mental health issues are real, both in the security industry and for the investigator. And it's really important that you're staying on top of what's going on and just making sure that you're addressing those needs. If you're a business owner, making sure you're addressing those needs with your employees, because they are the front lines, like Mario had said, and they're out there and they're dealing with these real stressors. So, it's really important to understand the environment that we're dealing with right now, and either taking care of yourself or taking care of your employees. I thought that these were really good points that you brought here today, Mario. So thank you for coming on.
Well, Matt, thanks for taking the time and for inviting me. I look forward to seeing you in person soon. I know we've got a Albanese meeting coming up on Long Island. So
yeah, we got to go back to Jack's. Yeah, you got to go get a steak. So
hopefully we'll be able to have a beer soon.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely. I'm all for that. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Mario, why don't you tell folks how they can get a hold of you if they have any questions?
If you have any questions, again, my cell is 917-703-8327. My email is mdoyle@doylesecurityservices.com. You can Google me. I'm not hard to find,
right.
And I'd love to assist with any need you might have, personally or professionally. Thank you.
Thanks, Mario. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll catch everybody next week on the next show.
We want to thank Mario for coming on and discussing this important issue. After all, mental health should not be neglected. We also want to thank Crosstracks, Merlin Locate, IRB Investigation Education Consultants, and the Campbell Insurance Group for sponsoring the show. Please support our great supporters. Speaking of, have you checked out investigatorstoolbox.com yet? Click that link in the show notes and make sure you use code PIP201836 to save $20 when you join. And you can do just that through the app, available on all smartphones. Got a question or a comment about the show? Email Matt at matthews@satellitepi.com. You can also find him on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. We want your feedback to bring you the best shows possible. And we'll be back on Monday with a new show. So make sure you tune in and stay safe out there.